Okay, so now we're going to start doing shape number 3. If I go back to our shapes, if you remember what they look like, these are the first two that we did here. So the third one that we're going to be doing is this one. Recording isn't working. Why? Alright, so this video is going to show you how to do shape numbers 3 and 4. Shape number 3 starts off pretty basic, just like we did with shape number 2. So we'll go back here to SketchUp, and I'm going to start with the basic shape that I did before. I'm going to use my rectangle tool, and I'm just going to drag out my shape. And again, remember, all you have to do is type in 9 apostrophe comma 6 apostrophe enter, and it adjusts to the size that you need. The next thing we're going to do, go ahead and go with the push pull tool again, and we can just go ahead and drag that up. If you want, you should be able to come over to this shape right here, and you'll notice that down in my bottom right hand corner you'll see the distance is 6 feet. As long as I go on this edge right here, it's going to copy that height. So now I know I have it at 6 feet as well. So there's the basic shape, right? So the next, you'll notice that this top part here is 3 blocks over, just like it was on figure 2 up here. Okay, so it's the same thing. So we're going to go back here to SketchUp. I'm going to take my tape measure tool, scroll in. I'm going to measure from this edge, drag over, type in 3 apostrophe enter. Then I can go ahead and take my pencil tool, click on this intersection, drag it over here, click on the opposite intersection. Then I can go ahead and take my push-pull tool again. I'm going to slide this down, and we're going to go find that midpoint just like we did before. And there's the midpoint. Alright, so basically we have everything done except for this circle. And we're going to make this actually a hole. It's not really going to be a circle. I'll show you how we're going to do that. You'll see that the center of this circle is 1, 2 squares over, and it's 1, 2, 3 squares over from the edge. Okay, so let's go back here to SketchUp. First thing we need to do is we need to measure over from this edge 2. So we'll go 2 apostrophe enter. Oops. There we go. And then I'm going to measure from over here from this edge. And it doesn't seem to want to work. Let's try that again. Take the tape measure tool, come from this edge here, and we're going to measure over 3. Or you can go ahead and find that midpoint. There's the midpoint. And so now we have that. Get rid of that guideline, don't need it. So now the next thing we need to do is we need to make that circle. To do that, on the rectangle tool there are different shapes that you can pick. And we need the one that's circle. So here's the circle. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And if we go back to look at the shape, the radius says R1 is 1 unit, or 1 foot in this case. So we're just going to go ahead and click on that center point, drag it out, and again just type in 1 apostrophe enter, and it will adjust to that size. Pretty easy. Then we will take our eraser tool, get rid of the guidelines, and then we'll take the push-pull tool, and I want to make this a hole so that I can see through this. So to do that, I'm going to start pushing down, and as I push down, I'm going to drag this cursor down to this bottom edge where it touches this bottom line, where it says on edge there. You can see how it says on edge. And if I click and let go then, and I tilt it up, you'll see that I actually have a hole going through the center there. And then now that shape is done. And now we can go ahead and start the third shape. With the fourth shape. The fourth shape. Alright, so the fourth shape, this one's going to be a little more difficult. It's got a few different things here. But it's going to start off with, again, 9 by 6 on the bottom and then 6 feet up. So we're basically starting it the very same way. So I'll go ahead and take my shape tool, which is a rectangle tool here. Click that, drag that out again, and make it 9 apostrophe comma 6 apostrophe enter. And then go ahead and push pull that up. And we're just going to copy that edge again. So there's 6 feet. So that part's pretty simple, right? Now we got this cut out here in the middle. Still really shouldn't be too difficult, right? We have over from this edge 3, this edge 3, and up from the bottom 2. So we can attack it that way, or we can go from the top up here, but I'm going to go from the front edge. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go ahead and take my tape measure tool. The first thing I'm going to do is measure up 2. And let's see if I can type that in, 2 apostrophe enter. Yep, I don't know if that worked, so I'm going to click undo and try it again. Two apostrophe enter. There we go. And then I'll come over here from this edge. I'm going to drag this, make that 3. And same thing from this edge, 3. And then I'm just going to take my pencil tool, and I'm just going to click on this intersection, come down here to this intersection, continue that going, and click on this intersection, and then complete it by clicking on that intersection. So now I have that little square. Go ahead and click on my push-pull tool, and this is pushed in 3 squares. So we're going to go ahead and push this in 3 apostrophe enter. So that's that part done. So now I can go ahead and erase those guidelines, get rid of those. Now the last part, we have this little curved edge over here. Oh, I should take that back. We have this square in the front here first. So we're going to do this little square in the front. To do that, again, you're just going to measure 2 from each edge. 2 apostrophe enter. And you'll notice that as I do this now, I did it once, it should snap to 2. There it goes. So I don't have to keep typing it in. It'll just snap right there. Makes it a little easier. There we go. And then I can again take my pencil tool, draw this line going across and around that square like so. And then take the push-pull tool, and I'm going to push this in 1 square. So 1 foot, and there we go. So if you look at this shape, this is in 1 square down here. So now we have the last part. Got to do this little curved edge. How do we do that? Alright, so first of all, the radius it says is 1. So that means the center of this circle, if this was a completed circle, would be right there. So I'm going to go ahead and measure in with my tape measure tool 1 this way. Type in 1 apostrophe enter. There we go. And I'm going to do the same thing this way. And again, it should snap. Now, you don't want to get too confused with these guidelines, so you might want to get rid of them, of the ones you don't need. So that's the one I need right there. Now, the last part we're going to do is this one here. This tool is called the arc tool. I click on that. I want to find the one that says 2-point arc. Then I can click here, and then click here, and you will get a little tangent. It says tangent to the edge. Click that, and now you have that arc. And then I can take the push-pull tool, slide that down to the very bottom, make sure we're on the edge, and that will disappear. And then there you have that curved edge. Erase those 2 guidelines, and we're good to go. So now, The last part is how do you share these. So I have all of these shapes in one file, so this makes it pretty simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click Save, and I'm going to call this Completed Shapes. Okay, so then I'm going to go over here to this file folder. And what I need to do is I need to download them. So I'm going to go ahead and click Download. And we're just going to use the 2020 version and click OK. Now I'm going to go back to my sample classroom so you guys can kind of see how this will work. Okay, so here I am in my sample classroom. Basically what you're going to do is I'm going to go here to the assignment. And once I'm here in the assignment, I'm going to go ahead and click on Add or Create. And I want to click on a file. So what you need to do is you need to go ahead and go to select a file from your device. And then once this opens, you need to go to Downloads. So over here on the left hand side, you'll find one that says Downloads. So let's see, there's Downloads. Alright, so look for the one that you downloaded. Here's the one that I downloaded, Completed Shapes. Go ahead and click on that, hit Open. And that should load in there. Go ahead and hit Upload. Alright, and so once it's uploaded, then you go ahead and click Turn In. And turn it in. And there you go. That's how you turn it in.